Today's topic is dengue. In the last lecture, we have completed up to ringworm. So now we'll start with the next disease, that is dengue. And we have to follow the same sequence. First, what information about the disease. Next is the causative agent, फिर रहेगा symptoms, and lastly the treatment. Okay, we have to follow the same sequence. Now, dengue is again said to be a vector-borne disease. Vector-borne means what? It is transmitted through vector. जैसे malaria है, it is transmitted through female Anopheles mosquito. The same way, ये जो dengue का virus है, it's a viral disease. It is transmitted through female Aedes mosquito. Okay, तो यहाँ पे जो vector है, it is mosquito, but the species of the mosquito is different. In malaria, it is Anopheles mosquito, and here in dengue, it is Aedes mosquito. Okay, it is transmitted in the same manner. That is, if the dengue, if a mosquito bites a person infected with dengue virus, and the same mosquito goes and bites a healthy person, then it spreads. It cannot spread directly from one person to another person. It's not an infectious disease. Now, what are the major symptoms here of dengue? Dekho, you have to remember any 4 symptoms: severe headache, pain behind the eyes, nausea, vomiting. But the major symptom which you can see here in dengue is muscle and joint pain. Rashes are seen on the body. Okay, so out of this any 4, हमेशा याद रखो जो भी symptom रहेगा, कोई भी 4 symptoms याद रखो, not all. Now, what are the treatment measures? Taking complete rest, drinking plenty of fluids, means you have to always keep your body hydrated. Paracetamol can be taken as a painkiller for joint pain and all. Then ibuprofen, या फिर aspirin can also be taken. Okay, so these are the treatment measures. I hope इसके पहले के diseases का causative agent, symptoms, preventive measures, mode of transmission, ये सब आपने लिखा होगा. Because if you're not writing, you're not able to remember. Okay, so let us go for next now. After dengue is cancer. Now, what are the different things you need to remember for this? Number 1, definition for tumor. Second, when can a tumor called as cancer? Then the tissues or the lumps which are formed in tumor case, what are those tissues or the lump called as? Okay, and then the definition again for the different types of cancer. तो ये हमें यहाँ पे याद रखना है. Repeatedly asked question is types of cancer, definition of tumor. These are the repeatedly asked questions and the treatment measures. Okay, so now abnormal, uncontrolled, purposeless division of cells. And because of this division of cells, there is development of mass, collection of cells. And that collection of cells is called as tumor. Okay. And when this tumor becomes malignant, means what? When it spreads to other parts of the body, then you can say it is a cancer. Okay. That is when it goes and attacks other tissues of the body, then only a tumor can be called as a cancer. Ye yaad rakhna. Now, you know that the cancer harms the body when cancerous cells uncontrollably divides and forms masses. And those masses of tissue are called as neoplasm. And this neoplasm or the formation of tumor is not seen in case of leukemia, which is a blood cancer. In that, you will see that the amount or the number of the lymphocytes becomes very, very high. It divides uncontrollably and the number goes very high, above millions and trillions. This goes above very high. That is called as leukemia. So in case of leukemia, you're not going to see formation of any lumps or tumors. Okay. So now, tumors can grow and it can interfere with the functioning of the body organs. Sometimes they may release certain secretions also, which can change your body functions or can stop or reduce your body functions. Okay. Now, next, types of tumors. As I told you, all tumors are not cancerous. So there are 2 types of tumors. One is benign tumors, you can see here. One is benign tumors, another is malignant tumors or cancerous tumors. Now, what are these benign tumors? These benign tumors, they grow very slowly and can become a large size as well. What they do is, they remain restricted to one place. They are localized. They don't spread to other parts of the body. Okay? Benign tumors usually are harmless. They don't cause that much of trouble, but there are certain benign tumors which can become fatal later on, which can be dangerous later on. Like for example, brain tumors. They are benign tumors. Okay. Then, moreover, you can see that the benign tumors may sometimes become malignant in case of adenomas. Adenomas means that cancer of the glands, thyroid gland, prostate gland, and all. When there is cancer of certain glands, those tumors can later on become malignant. Then, even the fibroids which are present, those are earlier benign, but later on they may become malignant. Then, malignant tumors or cancerous tumors, what do you know them? The growth rate of the tumor here is very high and the mortality rate is again very high. Mortality rate means it becomes fatal or can lead to death. The cancerous cells, what they do is they always compete. They have a competition with the normal cells for the nutrients, and finally what they do is they kill our normal cells. Okay. Sometimes what happens that these cells, they even spread to other parts or the other organs through blood or the lymph, and there they may go and form new tumors. तो एक जगह का ट्यूमर अगर स्प्रेड होके दूसरे जगह पे जाता है, then it is known as secondary tumors. And now you can say that it is metastasis. The meaning of metastasis is spread of those cancerous cells to another organ via blood or the lymph, and when they go to another organ, they form new tumors, and those are called as secondary tumors. Okay, so definition for this is, or the term which is used for this is metastasis. Now see, these two diagrams are again very important. Benign and malignant tumors, two diagrams have been given. You have to draw proper label diagrams for both of them. Now next, again, this is a very, very important question. You have to know the definition and the examples for each of them. 5 types of cancers, okay? Sometimes you may get this question separately. Sometimes they may ask you to enlist. Sometimes they may ask you as a name the following to give only the examples. So number 1 you can see here is carcinoma. Number 1 is carcinoma. Carcinoma arises from epithelial tissues or the lining of the body organs. Especially you can see this in respiratory system. Okay, so examples you have to know. Many examples are given here, out of which one is lung cancer, breast cancer, skin cancer, stomach cancers. These can be the examples for carcinoma. इसमें से कोई भी 2 examples याद रखो. Okay, any 2 examples you may remember here. Okay, then comes sarcoma. Now what is sarcoma? Sarcoma is the cancer of connective tissues. It is the cancer of connective tissue. Okay, and here the examples what you can take is bone tumors, that is osteosarcoma, muscle tumors, myosarcoma, cancer of cartilage, chondrosarcoma, adipose tissue, liposarcoma, and so on. तो ये तो आपको पूरा ही याद रखना है because this we can ask as multiple choice questions. What are bone tumors? What are muscle tumors called as? Okay. Next comes lymphoma. Lymphoma is a cancer of lymphatic tissue. It occurs in the lymphatic nodes like that of tonsils, spleen, and all. They affect the tissues of the immune system. Then comes leukemia. Just before I told you, leukemia is a blood cancer. And here you can see the number of WBC, leukocyte ka jo count hai, it becomes very, very high. The blood will contain millions of abnormal immature WBCs here. Okay, and these leukocytes will be incapable of fighting infections. ये unbearably इनका जो division हुआ है, it is purposeless division, so they don't have that capacity to fight infections. And this you can have of 2 types, monocystic and lymphoblastic. These 2 names you have to remember. One is monocystic leukemia and other is lymphoblastic leukemia. The last one is adenocarcinoma. As I told you earlier, adenocarcinoma are adenomas, that is the cancer of glands, thyroid, pituitary, and other glandular tissues. Okay, you have to know the definitions for all with at least 2 examples of each. Next comes causes of cancer. So those factors which will be causing cancer are called as carcinogenic agents. They are known as carcinogenic factors or carcinogenic agents. You can see these are the factors, 4 factors you have to remember: chemicals, radiations, viruses, and oncogenes. These are the 4 factors which causes cancer. Okay. Then next, let us start with the first. Which chemicals? तो यहाँ पे आपको emphasis किस पे करना है? The name of the chemicals, not the entire thing which is given here. Like nicotine, caffeine, by burning of coal and oil, some polycyclic hydrocarbons, sex hormones, steroids. Okay, they may cause different types of cancers. Even breast cancer is because of hormonal relationships. Yeah. So these are certain chemicals which may lead to cancer. Then comes radiations. If one is exposed to these radiations for a longer period of time, X-rays, yeah, gamma rays, cosmic rays, ultraviolet rays, okay, they may cause skin cancer. Then viruses. Which viruses? So those viruses which cause cancer, they have genes, and those genes are called viral oncogenes. So viruses causing cancer have got viral oncogenes, and they are responsible for causing cancer. These two examples you have to know: EBV and HPV, that is Epstein-Barr virus, and another is human papilloma virus. These two examples are very, very important. Okay, viruses. Then comes oncogenes. Just before I told you, these are the genes which can be transmitted from generation to generation. So those genes which will be causing cancer and can be transmitted from generation to generation are called as oncogenes. The other name for this is proto-oncogenes or C-oncogenes. So on. Then comes addiction. Now, what type of addictions can cause cancer? Tobacco, alcohol, okay? They may cause cancer of different organs like esophagus, stomach, intestine, liver, okay? And here you find certain drugs. So which are those drugs which can cause cancer? Marijuana, that is charas, okay? Then anaerobic steroids. These are certain addictions which can lead to cancer. So these were what? Carcinogens or carcinogenic agents. Now this is a chart which you all have to by heart, because this question can come as name the following. Which carcinogen can affect which organ of the body? Like soot, skin and lungs, coal tar hai to skin and lungs, then cigarette smoking, lungs, cadmium oxide, prostate gland, aflatoxin, it's a metabolite which is given out from a fungus called as aspergillus. Okay, it affects liver. Then 2-naphthylamine, aminobiphenyl, it attacks urinary bladder, mustard gas, lungs, nickel chromium, lungs, asbestos, lungs. Then diethyl estradiol, with the ES, which causes cancer of vagina. Okay. Then vinyl chloride, it causes cancer of liver. So carcinogens with their organs affected, you have to write this chart in your notebooks. Next comes treatment of cancer. As I told you, treatment of cancer consists of number of therapies, out of which one is chemotherapy. Now, what is being done in chemotherapy? In chemotherapy, a person or a patient is administered or is given anti-cancer drugs. Now, what this anti-cancer drugs does? ऐसी question आ सकता है आपको. What is the function of anti-cancer drugs given in chemotherapy? So, what you'll say? They check cell division. जो purposeless cell division hota, they keep a check on that. They will inhibit, they'll stop DNA synthesis, okay, and are more toxic to the cancerous cells than the normal cells. Especially what happens is during this chemotherapy, it leads to hair loss, anemia and all, but when the treatment is stopped, everything is corrected back again. Then is radiotherapy. In this radiotherapy, the organ or a patient whole body has been exposed to certain radiations, such as cobalt, iridium, iodine and all. And these radiations, what they do is they destroy the cancerous cells of the body. Then comes surgery. Now surgery is done in case of brain tumors, yeah, breast cancer, okay, uterine cancer, vaginal cancer, where tumors are formed. Okay, and through your surgery, the tumors are being removed out. Immunotherapy. Immunotherapy is done in case of lymphatic tissue cancer or called as lymphosarcoma. Here what you can see is the patients are given certain substances called biological response modifiers, such as alpha interferons. What they do is they activate the immune system and helps in destroying the tumor. That's called as immunotherapy. Then comes supportive therapy. Supportive therapy usually is given after effect of cancer. Like after completing the entire treatment for cancer, the person goes into depression. So it's a counseling session like, which is usually given to increase the quality life of a cancer patient. Okay. Now, next, is the definition of oncologist. Those physicians or the researchers who are studying or who are specialized in the studies or the diagnosis, treatment, prevention of cancer, they are called as oncologists. This definition again is very, very important. जो लोग study करते in-depth study of diagnosis, treatment, prevention and all of cancer, they are called as oncologist. Okay. Now, next disease is AIDS. Now, here again, you need to know what is the full form of AIDS, then the causative agent of AIDS, how exactly it infects and causes depression in the body. The number one, you can see that full form of AIDS. It is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay. It is caused due to a retrovirus. अभी इसे retro क्यों बोलते हैं? Retroviruses are those viruses which are having ssRNA, that is single stranded RNA. तो जिनमें ये single stranded RNA है, those viruses are called as retroviruses and HIV is one among them. It is called human immunodeficiency virus. Okay. Now, what exactly is does to the body? So, what it do is it weakens the body's immune system. Then it leaving behind the victim vulnerable, means prone. The person who has been infected by AIDS virus, it's prone or is susceptible to all types of infections, all neurological disorders or unusual malignancies, means unusual cancerous cells develop in the body. You can see that the AIDS was first noticed in USA in 1981, and India it was seen in April 1986, and that too from Tamil Nadu. So this we have to know for MCQs again. Then AIDS Day is been celebrated on 1st December. Okay. Next is the structure of AIDS virus. HIV का structure कैसा है? See, here you need to know the diameter of it. If you see, it's a spherical, completely spherical. It shows ssRNA, that is single-stranded RNA present over here. It shows presence of enzyme, and this enzyme is called as reverse transcriptase. Correct? It has been surrounded by two layers of proteins. You can see the two protein layers outside. Clear? And then the outer layer you can see is made up of P17 protein, and the inner layer is called as the capsid protein, which is P24. Okay, so outer layer is called as P17 protein and inner is called as P24. Then over the matrix, that is over the outer layer, that is lipid present. So what are these lipids? Okay, it's a lipid code which is being present here above the protein code. It is impregnated with glycoproteins. Here you can see impregnated means it shows presence of glycoproteins on it. And these glycoproteins are GP120 and GP41. These are the two glycoproteins which are present on the lipids. So the structure of the AIDS virus is again very, very important question here. Yeah, structure as well as the explanation of the structure. Then HIV infection in the target cells or T cells. How exactly it happens? What is that? The virus replicates in the T lymphocytes. Body में जो T lymphocytes है, there the virus replicated, forms its copies. There it remains in the latent state. Latent state means what? In a still state. The virus here has got one ability to destroy the human T lymphocytes. And when the T lymphocytes are destroyed, they are called as CD4 cells. क्या बोला जाता है उसे? CD4 cells. And when they are destroyed, the entire immunity of that person loses or becomes weak. Where it is found? So this virus is found in blood, semen, that is a reproductive fluid in males, cerebrospinal fluid. Okay. To some extent, it is present in tears, milk, urine, saliva, cervical and vaginal secretions and all. They're all you find. Now, what is the latent infection and what is active infection? Here you can see chromosomal DNA, proviral DNA present over here. Okay, there's a T cell. Later on, what happens is the progeny HIV. Progeny HIV means what? The cells which have been duplicated from here. Okay, there is duplication, replication takes place. And this one DNA gets replicated into many and then it spreads. You can see transcription of the proviral DNA, synthesis of viral components, assembly of viruses, and budding of viruses from the host cell. there is multiplication of the cells you can see here. Clear? So यहाँ पे this diagram is again important, showing latent infection and the active infection. Now, what is the mode of transmission of AIDS? You can see it is unsafe. Sexual contact is number one. Blood, that is through blood transfusions, needle sharing and all. From mother to child, it is called as transplacental, means before the birth, it is transmitted from mother to child via placenta, and after the birth, it is transmitted through mother's milk, that is through colostrum. Okay, so before the birth, it is transmitted to the fetus through placenta, and after the birth, it is transmitted to the baby through breast milk, that is through the milk. Other methods of spreading the virus kya hai? Accidental needle injury, artificial insemination with infected donated semen, and transplantation with infected organs. AIDS virus have been found in the urine, tears, saliva, milk, vaginal secretion, but it seems not to be transmitted by these fluids unless it gets into injuries. ये directly in sub fluids में से फैलता नहीं है unless there is injury or infection taking place through needles. Okay, so you can get an idea from this. Yeah, so this was the last topic from this chapter. If you have any doubts regarding this, you can ask in tomorrow's session. Clear? And I also wanted to tell you all that if you have doubt in any of the questions or any of the chapters by now, last time itself I told you, you have to write it down all the questions and ask in the doubt session, which will be held tomorrow. Yeah, so we'll stop here.